Happy Thursday. Obviously, I'm in a little different of a place. For those of you who drive on campus, you probably recognize this place when we come in. I'll give you a little bit of a tour. It's going to be noisy out here because we're right on Davis Road. But this is a picnic area that we have out in front of our church. There's the pond in Davis Road. Believe it or not, this is really a nice, peaceful, beautiful area that we have people show up at to just kind of spend some time reflecting and kind of being in nature. I love it out here. For those of you who've never been here before, this is a really cool spot. So, this isn't a question, so to speak. This is kind of a consideration. I believe I have one word that could describe, explain, help us understand everything in the world. In one word. And so, like, right now you're probably going like, oh, what could that word be? Could it be like sin or greed or hate, lack of love, which is 3 words? I have 1 word. But honestly, when I consider every situation that I try to wrap my mind around, this one word explains it all. When I look at our passion or obsession with politics, whether you're conservative and it's instilling this sense of values and principles and beliefs, maybe reinstating or helping us kind of reestablish the way things used to be, like this is how the world was and it worked and it was good. Or you're on the other end of the spectrum, you're progressive and you're like, man, it wasn't as good. You know, it may have been good for you, but there are a lot of people that it wasn't good for. And so we need to move forward. There are ideas and beliefs and structures and systems that need to be addressed and fixed. This one word drives all of that. The reason why we work 60-70 hours a week, the reason why we hustle, the reason why we raise our kids the way we do, the reason why we try to fix our families, the reason why we buy things, everything can be described considering this one word. And the reason why this word is so important is because it helps us finish up Galatians, which we're going to do this Sunday. This is what I believe this one word is. And feel free to kind of push back a little bit on it. I believe this one word is longing. You can also kind of substitute striving or craving. Those tend to be a little bit more physical than this thing inside of us. Because you know I love words. The German word for that, for longing, is Sehnsucht. And what it is a body's aching or sickness, this thing inside of you that realizes that there's something more out there and we're trying to get to that place. So whether it's purchasing stuff, living a certain lifestyle, hustling in our work, how we view politics, whatever it is we're holding on to, even our belief system, is wrapping our mind around, here's where we are now. Inside of me, I can feel this ache, this sickness, as the Germans say, for something out there that we haven't arrived or achieved at yet. I'm going to say something super controversial now, so I'm glad you hung in there with me. I believe this is a callback to our understanding or our interpretation of the creation story. In that story, in the creation of Adam and Eve and placing me in the garden and everything that they need, go back and look and prove me wrong. We have this belief that it was perfect. Like it was Mary Poppins, birds would come and land on your shoulder and sing and things like that. And you read the first 3 chapters of Genesis of 2 different accounts of creation. You have to deal with that. Genesis 1 has a different order and understanding of creation than Genesis 2, and then Genesis 3, the fall. Nowhere does it ever say that conditions were perfect. And you're going to answer this question before I do. God, when he created things in the story, said that they were good. The best that we see in the first 3 chapters of Genesis is when he created humans, he said they were very good. But we have to realize that in the story of the creation, we have a man who throws his wife, a woman who throws her husband under a bus, a man who blames God, the story of a serpent that tricks them. So we recognize that the Garden of Eden wasn't perfect. However, we have this belief inside of us that there is this place that we can experience what we feel like we've lost. And that's part of the longing thing is we used to have this, or it's possible, and we've got to work to get back to it. Longing. I want you to kind of feel that word and what it means for you and how you understand how the world should be, how things should be, how people should be treated, just how life is supposed to happen. Now, I want you to kind of get in touch with your own longing. We finish up Galatians, a motorcycle, right? We finish up Galatians with Paul writing to this church that's going like, we have this belief and we are convinced that there's a better world for us. And if we could just do these things, we can bring this better world around. And Paul was addressing all of the ways that they were going about it, restricting people's freedom, imposing the law, that they were trying to force people to do what they wanted them to do in order to bring about this world that they believed was available to them. They had this longing. And so Paul closes up Galatians with, this is how it's done. That longing that you feel, like that there's that world that we should be able to live in, this is how you achieve that. And it's super simple, and there's an example in there that helps us kind of wrap our mind around what it looks for in our own personal individual lives to satisfy that sense of longing of how we want our lives to be, and then how the world should be. A huge thanks to Dr. Kristen Hill for a really cool conversation about freedom, very open, her own struggles with it and what it looks like to live free. And then this Sunday we'll wrap up with the answer to this thing of longing that happens inside of us. This Sunday is our last Sunday in Galatians. The following Sunday we begin a very interesting, very timely series. You'll need to watch next Thursday's video to see what the next series is going to be. And Promised Land starts back up then too. A huge thanks to our food pantry team. We had considerably more people this past Sunday than we've ever had before, and we recognize that there are a lot of things that are happening in this community that people are just struggling. So a huge thanks to our people who were able to feed a lot of people, and I appreciate all of you who donate to that. We finally have movement, significant movement on repairing the Promised Land area. We're going to sign the contract in the next week or so and move that forward. So, yay! And I think that's it. I've talked long enough. Get in touch with that longing inside of you, and then we will see you Sunday, either virtually or in person, as we finish up Galatians. So, I am longing for a little bit more time out here. I hope you have a great week. Stay cool, take care, and we'll see you Sunday.